Hello again and welcome to the greatest call short discourses. And our next most important conclusion gleaned from life, aka living, is that creation in any way or form is received naturally or organically by the law of growth. Again, creation on our level of consciousness, i.e., you and me, is received organically or naturally through the law of growth. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord, i.e., ultimate consciousness, rejoices to see the work begin. So goes a very good old book. Now let me explain. You see, folks, once the object or condition desired is fully impressed on the subconscious, and viewers and listeners, please check our channel and look at the playlist on human creation on the individual level for you to understand this particular part of the law in the right context and perspective. And please subscribe, share, and we would want your comment as well. And as you do so, it helps the YouTube algorithm. Once again, once the goal or condition desired is fully impressed on the subconscious mind, the only way we know how, i.e., constant repetition through rewriting or visualizing, there must be an absolute belief, which we talked about. And now, a lot of people will ask very legitimate question. Now what? Now what should I do? What is the next step? I have done what the law says. I have written down my goals. I have constantly repeated them, either by rewriting them or by visualizing them on a daily basis. Even some go to the extent of frequently, like an hourly basis. God, that is how serious some of us are. And they are all great. They are all incredibly the steps we need towards the goal or the dream being realized. So I've done all of that. I have visualized my goals. I have absolute belief, i.e., zero doubt. Now what now? What now? Now what? We could all agree this is a very legitimate question. And this is where many teachers and students even, many students and teachers even go against the law. This is where most of us contravene. And then we break the inflexible law of nature, for which the ramification we always have to receive. We always have to go through the ramification of contravening these inflexible laws of nature, unfortunately, sadly. So at this stage, two things I would like to expatiate on. If I have done the work very well, if we've both successfully been able to impregnate the subconscious mind, you will feel the thirst for the goal begin to reduce to a point where you already know it's done. Your subconscious will move from a stage of lack and wanting the goal to an emotional state. A feeling, a mental and an emotional state where you have this deep sense of knowing. At this point of feeling, the object or condition must come to you naturally, organically, through the law of growth. Again, at this point, the object or conditions must come to you organically or naturally through the law of growth. You see, the law does not say you should go for it. You should use brute force and then try to push things and then try to be determined and then go around and then push things to happen. No, folks. You see, nature is very natural. You can force things, but you will only be able to do so temporarily. And anything that is not natural cannot be supported by her. Again, anything that is not natural cannot be supported by the mighty force of nature. You see, you don't need to force yourself to move out of your current residence if you don't have the means and it's not natural to you. You don't have to even look for a job. You don't even have to change countries. Like, especially for folks who think traveling outside their home to a more developed country is the only way to live a more comfortable life. We don't need to do any of that. It's absolutely not necessary. The law of growth is one of my favorite, sadly. Every teacher and student of these inflexible laws of nature will tell you this is where most of us go wrong. Anytime you are forcing anything, it is because you are contravening the law of growth. We shall come back frustrated for sure, certainly, like we always do. And then later, the solution which we have been looking for all this while, after being so frustrated and just at the point of giving up, the solution will just slip in quietly, shyly, coyly. So you see, your condition or conditions desired must come to you. That's the phrase we are underscoring here. The phrase underlined is must come to you. Okay. Now, folks, let me explain. Let me explain further. Okay. We are not leading you to woo land without foundation, without the means to get there. The most important after we have done all the above we talked about is do not despise your small beginnings. Do not despise these small beginnings. You see, we go about our daily activities, everything we do on a daily basis, like whether it's studying, working as a profession, parenting, in the best way we know how, and giving gratitude to the ultimate consciousness for providing, if not for anything, being alive. Being able to savor the flavor of your coffee, being able to have a roof over your head, being able to see the beautiful sunset and sunrise, being able to see the beautiful flowers and smell them. Giving thanks for all of that. It could be in the form of a prayer, affirmation, or affirmation. And to be honest, if the only prayer we could say on the planet is thank you to the ultimate consciousness, that alone would have been the best prayer ever. So let's go about our daily activities, executing all the tasks and responsibilities the best way we know how, and giving genuine gratitude incessantly. It helps to keep the momentum. It helps to keep the momentum. Because like we talked about, you can be grateful and be fearful at the same time. They do not cohabitate in the same ecosystem. They are mutually exclusive. So giving gratitude to keep the momentum, everything can go wrong against you, but the materialization of their dreams, but the materialization or the realization of your dreams. The challenge is you can take all this knowledge we are espousing on this channel, take them, put them together, glean them, and then take them to the movers and shakers of this planet. Give it to, the presidents of nations, prime ministers, and also leaders of corporations. And we can promise you one thing. None of them can deny even one jot of these laws. Whether it's by experience, mostly, or by reading. None of them can falsify any of these laws. This we do promise. We promise you. Now let's take a practical example. Say Kofi works at the front desk of Holiday Inn just by the street, hypothetically speaking, making $2,400 a month, and has been wanting to buy a BMW, a brand new BMW X3. That's a very nice car. And if there's one thing that the Germans had figured out, it is speed, torque, performance of engine. Oh my God. It's a beautiful car. It has great performance. Anyways, if Kofi works at the front desk just by the street of Holiday Inn, making $2,400 a month, hypothetically speaking, and Kofi wants a white BMW with tan leather, which is above his monthly expenses, so he starts to write down his goals of making, say, $4,500 a month, so he can afford that BMW. If Kofi says, I am looking for $4,500, so I am not going to give my all, I am not going to fully work or give the best that I can at my current state of employment, which most of us do. You see, folks, let me explain this. You see, the universe abhors contraction, and even more so when it is deliberate. Again, the universe abhors contraction, and even more so when it is deliberate, when it is intentional, when there is an intention behind it. If Kofi refuses to work well because he's not getting the money he wanted from his current employer, we can promise you one thing, and that is his realization, though, could happen. That is the $4,500 a month, but it can't be done without lot of frustration, or it may not even happen at all, because after some elevated degrees of frustration, most of us will agree that giving up is probably the best. And that's when doubt, the tares among our wheat, begins to sprout. However, if Kofi works diligently to the best of his capacity and not using companies' time and Wi-Fi like a lot of us do, looking for the next big job, and goes about his duties executing them the best way he knows how, there will be uncountable ways his goals would be received. Again, there must be uncountable ways his goal of driving a white BMW X3 with a tan leather would and must be received. It could come from a CEO who just checked in at the Holiday Inn for a conference at Kofi's hotel, and with his diligence and honesty shining through his being, this CEO may give his card to Kofi and arrange an interview for him. And the most interesting part is, even before the interview, Kofi would have a sense of knowing that the job is already secured, if that is the way ultimate consciousness wants to materialize Kofi's goal. he would feel an overwhelming sense of the job already being secured. With no doubt. No doubt. This is all first on the Law of Growth, viewers, and listeners should know these hidden laws, known only to the leaders of humanity, the movers and the shakers, has been kept secret. They do come in parts and piecemeal, just like our limbs and organ systems working together as one complete human being. You know, we do advise that viewers and listeners go back to our channel to check out the playlist on that's the individual level of creation, or check the link below to fully understand how these principles work, how these laws of the universe work together. You see, the law of growth is where most of us make mistakes. You see, I want to make an X amount of money. You know, like in coffee skirts, even after all these laws being taught and learned to better our lives and be more conscious of our creation, you see, most of us, what we normally do is we go and burnish, polish, hire somebody to give us the best resume or CV ever, you know, and then call in in sick sometimes at the Holiday Inn and start a strenuous and frustrating effort of looking for the next big job that can pay us the $4,500 or the amount we desire. And worse of it, sometimes we go to work to be paid. We don't call in sick, we go to work to be paid, but using company's time and Wi-Fi to look for the next job. This is totally not right, folks. Totally not right. And after a few denials, which must come and which will come, we begin to get dejected, and the tears again begin to take over our will, i.e. doubt, thereby reversing our question, and then we go through life very frustrated. You know, I have, just like everybody, I have personally contravened the law of growth many times when I was learning these laws, and guess what? Guess what? As inflexibly impartial as it is, I was inspired. As previously articulated, we shall glean the best narratives and experiences on the planet from sages, the scientists, and the saints, prophets and poets, for the expansion of your consciousness, my consciousness. You see, the current formal education was started to beef up law-abiding employees for the owners of industries on this planet. These inflexible universal laws are never taught in classrooms, unfortunately and sadly, and they shall never be taught. They shall never be taught. Leaders still want to lead. They want to keep their power. However, the planet is awakening. We are awakening. None can stop humanity's effort now but ourselves. None can stop our effort now but ourselves. So do share, subscribe, and we would want your comment as well. By so doing, we are all sharing the light that we've so much been in need of on this planet, on this beautiful home, folks. This beautiful home. So please do go back and listen to the playlist on human creation to put this part in perspective as a continuation, a necessary continuation of the individual level of creation, the laws governing the individual, you, me, how we create objects and conditions desired in our lives. Again, folks, orderliness is heaven's first law. And once we are using flexible universal laws, don't go chasing it. If you've done the work the best you know how, the next stage shall unfold organically, naturally, effortlessly. Effortlessly, folks, effortlessly. You shall be guided. You, me, shall be guided by a higher power. A higher power. You shall be guided. We shall be guided. Let's trust the Lord to do it, but let's not be like the kid that digs up his seeds every hour to see if they are sprouting after sowing them in the backyard. Let us not do that. Let's trust the Lord to do it, but after we've done ours. Nature is very natural. Again, nature is natural. It doesn't force things. Most good stuff, like we can all attach to, most good stuff we are all enjoying came after strenuously chasing for them without doing the work. And almost all the time, at the point of giving up, it came in coyly. Once again, this was the greatest call. First short discourse on the law of growth. One of my favorite. God bless you. God bless your family and the planet. Arakum Jami and Koriban. See you all very soon.